one of the Baalei Musar, one of the Talmidim of the Rabbi Yisrael Misalant, used to test himself as Bitachon in Hashem on a regular basis, to constantly show how there's no such thing as natural. So one day he's sitting in a train, and he's waiting for the train. Another Jew, sits next to him. He goes, "Oh, you're going to go on the next train?" "Yeah." Goes, "Where's your ticket?" Goes, "I don't have one." Goes, "Well, you have to buy a ticket. They're not going to let you. You can't buy a ticket on the train. Once the train comes, it's not going to wait for you." He says, "Bezat Hashem." Goes, "Well, what do you mean, Bezat Hashem? The train's going to come in 6-7 minutes. You have to buy a ticket. It takes at least 5 minutes to buy a ticket. You buy a ticket already. You're making me worried. You can buy a ticket." He goes, "Bezat Hashem, don't worry." He goes, "Oh, Bezat Hashem. Okay, Bezat Hashem, sure. Bezat Hashem, we're going to get on a train. And it's going to take us to the destination. Yes, for that, Bezat Hashem. But you have to buy a ticket. You can't not buy a ticket." Bezat Hashem, he keeps telling him over and over, Bezat Hashem, Bezat Hashem. 1 minute before the train comes, this guy, he's like, well, this guy must be crazy, I don't know. He runs, "Come, here's a ticket, but listen, next time, don't be crazy. Nobody else is going to save you." He says, "I told you, Be'ezrat Hashem, only Be'ezrat Hashem this time came by you. Next time will be a different crazy person." Meaning that Hashem makes the supernatural look natural. One of the times that he went into the Saba Mislavotka, went into the woods, because he told himself, there's no way that Hashem is not going to allow me to learn Torah. I'm going to go into the woods, and Hashem is going to make light in the woods for me to learn Torah. This is a very famous story from about a little over 120, 140 years ago. He went into the woods. Everybody knew he's going into the woods, staying there with nothing, just his books, no candle, no nothing. To go test his Emunah and Bitachon in Hashem, Hashem is going to make light for him, just like he did Maaseh Bereshit. Hashem says, "Let there be light," he's going to make light for me. How? It's not my business. He went into the woods. Little by little, night came. No lights coming. Little by little, the darkness came. No lights coming. But he could still read the words, could still read the words. Eventually, he got to a point where it was so dark, he couldn't read the words. So he reached back just to see, maybe there's something behind him, and a hand gave him a candle. He took the candle, he continued learning Torah for the rest of the night, and he brought the candle back with him, and the same little candle was lit for 25, 30 years. People saw the candle. For years it was lit. Never went off. He goes, "Yeah, it's the candle from the forest. Remember I told you guys?" He goes, "Yeah. Anytime somebody has bitachon problems, you go to him, just look at the candle. Just look at the candle." Why? A hand came from Shamayim and gave him a candle. Because he believed it could be. He didn't believe in the natural. He didn't believe there's anything such as natural. There's only Hashem. There's only Hashem. Once a person realizes there's only Hashem, it becomes easier to serve Hashem. It becomes easier to believe in Hashem. And you stop relying on ourselves. If we're stressed for 5 minutes over our money issues, that means we have no emunah in Hashem. The Gemara in Masechet Brachot says that if a person has food today, but is worried about what he's going to eat tomorrow, that simply means he has no emunah in Hashem. He's katon emunah. He has a little baby emunah. Why? Hashem gave you food today. Did he ask for your permission or your help to give you food today? No. He gave it to you though, right? So why are you questioning how he's going to do it tomorrow? Why? Because it doesn't make sense for you? Because there's no money in the bank? Because all the shops are closed? Because it doesn't seem natural for him to give you food tomorrow? What makes it seem natural today? What makes it seem natural that all of your teeth are exactly in the perfect place of where they should be? Because in reality, if your front teeth were in the side, and your side, the back teeth, the molars, were in the front, do you know that the only way for you to chew food and swallow it would be if you ate like a sheep, with your neck up? Bemet. Why? Because if your front teeth were in the back, the only way for you to break things down, cut them initially, would be if you brought them to the back. And the only way for you to chomp them and eat them is in the front. Which means that all the food will fall out of your mouth all the time. So it means you have to have your head all the time. Meaning that every single part of the creation itself is so perfect, But we don't ask questions about it. We don't ask questions of why we have two little bubbles, we call them eyes, and they can record everything naturally, and they clean themselves without any help, and they work all the time, and we don't ask it. It's all natural for us. The reality is, Rabotai, is that the supernatural for the people that learn Torah and fulfill mitzvot is the same thing as natural. In the Gemara in Masechet Ta'anit, we see there's a story about a person by the name of Nachum Ish Gamzu, famously known as a Gamzu Letova, where everything that would happen in the world, he would say, this too is for the good. No matter what would happen. One time there was a decree by the Goyim to hurt Am Yisrael, and the rabbi said to Nachum Ish Gamzu, you deal with miracles, why don't you go bribe this Caesar and give him some jewels, give him some money, and if there's miracles that are needed, because it's a very, very dangerous journey, you'll be the one that's safe to carry all this. And that's what Nachum Ish Gamzu did. Gemara Masechet Ta'anit, page 21a, says, he took a case full of gold and jewels and started going. On the way, right outside the city, he stopped at a motel, and he slept there. In the morning, he took his case and went to the castle, waited his turn, showed up when the turn came, and the king said to him, yes, what can I help you with? He says, I'm representing the Jewish people. We had a decree that was going to increase our taxes and do a lot of bad things for us, but we want the king to have some mercy on us. So to respect and honor the king, we brought you this present. So everybody's looking, there's hundreds of people there. What do they have? The Jewish people. He opens the case, the chest. You see it's full of sand. It's full of sand. So he looks at Nachum, this is what you bring me? You bring me sand? You knew you were bringing me sand? He goes, oh yeah, I checked the case in the morning and it had sand in it and I'm bringing it to you. Meaning that it wasn't like new for Nachum Ish Gamzu. He knew there's sand in it. Even though originally there was gold in it, now it was sand. But he said, if it's Hashem turned the gold into sand, Gamzu Letova, this too is for the good. So the king wanted to kill him. But right before he gave the decree, Eliyahu Navi dressed up as one of his soldiers and says, no, Your Highness, this is a Jew. Maybe this sand is like the sand of their forefather Avraham. He goes, what sand is this? He goes, no, Avraham, he beat 4 kings. He beat 4 nations with sand. He goes, okay, let's check it. They took the sand, they threw it out the window, and all turned into spears. Like, wow, what a gift. Thank you for the gift. Nachum Ish Gamzu, make sure you fill even a bigger chest for him, full of diamonds and jewels. I don't need the diamonds and jewels. Give it to them. I need this sand. I need this sand. Now, Nachum Ish Gamzu knew there was sand there, and he knew that originally started with gold. But why did it didn't disturb him? Because he knew that both the sand and the gold came from Hashem. If it comes from Hashem, it has to be good. Even if it's bad initially. Even if it hurts a little bit initially. The same Gemara talks about Rabbi Hanina ben Dosa. Rabbi Hanina ben Dosa, his daughter came to him and told him, Abba, the oil for Shabbat, I made a mistake, and instead of buying oil, I bought vinegar. So we're not going to be able to have candles for Shabbat. And Nachum Ish Gamzu says, Rabbi Hanan ben Dosa says to his daughter, he goes, Biti, my daughter, why are you worried? Just light the candles from the vinegar. The same God that decided that oil will light candles will decide vinegar will light candles. Meaning the same God, to him it's the same thing. Like he decided that oil is going to work. Now he's going to decide that one's going to work. What's going to make it work? You have to have Emunah that he's going to do it. Now how did Rabbi Hanina, Nachum Ish Gamzu, all of these people get to such a level of holiness and purity where literally the natural and the supernatural became the same thing to them? Because they took the Torah not just seriously, but they took the zeirut, the carefulness that you must have with the Torah even more carefully than any one of us could even imagine. The same Rabbi Hanina ben Dosa one time saw that outside of his house, outside of the fence, there was a boy peeking through the fence. And he said, "What are you doing?" He says, "Oh, I'm just looking at the beautiful girl inside." He saw inside, what is he looking at? He's looking at Rabbi Hanina's daughter. Rabbi Hanina came inside his house and he told his daughter, "Biti, you're making Am Yisrael sin. Go back to the dust you came from." And she died on the spot. Why did he kill his own daughter? Why didn't he just tell her, "Close the window"? Why didn't he just tell her, "Listen, some guy is looking at you. Why don't you be more careful"? Why is it her fault that some guy is noef? He's looking at something that's not appropriate. What's her fault? Because Rabbi Hanina ben Dosa knew it's better off for a person to die than for her to make Am Yisrael sin. It's better off for a Bat Yisrael to die, to never have kids, to never get married, to never have any future, to never have anything in the world, than to make Am Yisrael look at her for 1 second inappropriately. 1 second, one time. When a person is such a makpid, so careful with the Torah to such an extent, meaning he's careful with Am Yisrael to make sure that he doesn't lead them to sin. He's careful with himself to make sure he doesn't sin. He's careful with his family to make sure they all know what to do and not to sin. He's careful with all of the sins, even more so than the mitzvot. Then that means he has Yirat Shamayim. Once you have Yirat Shamayim, David HaMelech tells us in Tehillim, Hashem gives the secrets to the ones that fear him. What secrets? Everything. Everything and anything you want.